Hey everybody, Dave Neal here, stand-up comedian and host of the SAP podcast. Today, I'm going to watch the town hall that President Trump just had on Fox News, and I'm going to react to the different styles of jokes he uses. Observational humor, roast humor, that's pretty much it. So we're going to see how he deals with the crowd and all the different ways that Trump uses the crowd to his advantage to help build laughter, which, can build a lot of likability, and it's very commanding if you can make an audience laugh. So let's get into it. By the way, this is not an endorsement of President Trump. For those people that say Trump's not funny, if an audience laughs, you're funny. So it's kind of objective. Here we go. Let's check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Donald Trump.
It's like a WWE entrance, right? He just, wow, crowd size. Looking good, very nice. He milks it. He'd make a great stand-up comedian. Look, he milks the entrance. He shakes hands with the one pre-approved person that got sanitizer wipes. And this is what he does that's great. A lot of comedians do is he builds a connection with the audience. So he's got a 360-degree audience in the round right now. Checks him out, sees the balcony. Wow, look at that. Crowd size. Thank you. Boy, if this audience were at a comedy club, they're drinking White Russians. You know what I mean? That is a white crowd. Good crowd. Terrific crowd. Good crowd. He does a great job connecting with his audience. That is not up for debate.
When they hit us, we have to hit back. I feel that. I mean, there's two ways of doing it, turning your cheek, but I wouldn't be sitting up here if I turned my cheek. If I said, okay, let them just keep hitting at me, and I won't.
That's basically a roast joke, right? Someone hits you, you hit them back. That's what roast humor is. So the problem or the reason Trump is even elected in the first place is that he couldn't keep his mouth shut. For every time someone hit him with something, he slammed him back harder. And he's really good at it. He's been doing this his whole life.
But they're not interviewing me right now. They're interviewing somebody else. Maybe they won't even be doing that. Because if they don't get ratings, they don't interview anybody. That I've learned. But you know what? You can't turn your cheek. I mean, we get hit.
Look at that. Applause break right off the bat. So the thing with an applause break that's interesting is it's not always the funniest joke that was told, right? So he didn't really say much of a joke, but he had a truth there. He said, if I didn't get ratings, they wouldn't invite me on. And he's talking to the audience as if they're his friend. He's like, look at these people over here. And, Fox News is Trump's ally, kind of, but he still uses them as a weapon. He says, look, if I wasn't doing my job, they wouldn't like me. So the applause break happens when the whole audience kind of gets together with a group think and says, all right, we agree with you. And that's why one people, oh yeah, we agree with that. And then all of a sudden the whole crowd forms. And that's kind of what happened right there. It's used a lot in stand-up at the end of a joke. And then that's when I said, no thanks. You know what I mean? So like in this instance, it's just built on a truth. He told the truth. Everyone agreed with him. So they clapped.
So when you look at it, she did him no favors. That was not a good friendship. That was we started to see
talking about Warren,
by the way. That one became unhinged. Yeah. But
his audience is so warm right now that he doesn't even have to tell a joke. He just says a funny word. He says unhinged. And what you notice with a lot of Trump's humor is that all he's doing is speaking for the people. All he's doing is saying, "Oh, that was a muddy one out there." But he says it in a way where it's not what you say, but how you say it. That's where he probably gets half his jokes. Not what he says, but how he says it. All he said right there was unhinged. Like, let's rewind it.
Became unhinged. Yeah. But
unhinged. That's it. Got to laugh saying unhinged.
So you want to face Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders? That's my question.
I'll tell you, I was all set for Bernie because I thought it was going to happen. We get ready for things, right? So mentally, I'm all set for Bernie. Communist, I had everything down. He's a communist. I was all set.
He's sharing his playbook.
And then we have this crazy thing that happened, right, on Tuesday, which he thought was Thursday.
Okay, here's the problem, Biden. If you're listening, I know you're not. If you're listening over there on your record player, Biden, this is why he's going to destroy you if you become the Democratic nominee. You said, he took just some simple gaffe that you made saying Tuesday or whatever it was you said, and he's already getting laughs off of it. Trump knows exactly how to pick apart other people. Look, you got this guy in the background. He's in stitches. This guy over here is loving it. They're at a comedy show. They're at a comedy show. So for the next year and a half, all it's going to be is President Trump using his wit. Because look, Biden, I mean, you can challenge him to as many push-up contests as you want. All Trump has to do is respond with a little bit of wit. Like when Hillary said, "Oh, it's a good thing you're not president," and then he responds with, "Because I'd lock you up." I mean, come on. It's not the highest IQ remark in the world, but it's what gets the people rallying around him. Biden's got the processing power right now of a 1996 MacBook. You know what I mean? And Trump's going to beat him with his Apple Watch.
But he also said 150 million people were killed with guns, and he was running for the United States Senate. Support me, I'm running for the United States. There's something going on there. But I was all set.
And you know what he does too? He says the punchline, there's something going on there, and then he continues talking. I love that style of comedy where you don't just hit the punchline. It's almost like you're breakdancing, you hit the final jump, and then you just walk away like you knew you meant to do that. That's kind of what he does right here when you watch him hit this punchline and then keep on talking.
Something going on there. But I was all set.
There's something going on there. But anyway, back to me.
That's when I focus and we all focus, sometimes you do well and some people choke. I watched Mini Mike choke. When Mini Mike was hit by a very mean woman, he said, "Get me off this stage. Just get me off."
Trump likes to get into character, right? He said, "Get me off the stage." Like he likes to bring it. He likes to impersonate them, which is just mocking them. Trump loves to mock. Mocking, it's one of those things. If he's going to mock someone with disability, that's a horrible thing. But if he's mocking, Biden for his lack of processing power, it's valid. He's speaking a truth. This is what we want. A guy that doesn't know, how many, what day of the week it is. That's kind of what Trump's saying, and he's getting laughs for it. Laughs are an agreement. We're laughing because we agree with your position.
Replacing the worst deal, which was made by Joe. Okay, I didn't want to say Sleepy Joe because I want to be respected. I want to respect him.
But you got to.
I didn't want to say Sleepy Joe. I wanted to respect him. And then the moderator's like, you said Sleepy Joe. You just said it anyway. I want to rewind. Look at Trump's eyes when he's trying to self-censor. This is the most comedian thing in the world, because I can't tell you how many times, every comic will agree with me, how many times you're on stage and you don't want to say the wrong thing, but you blurt it out anyway. And that's exactly what he does right now. When he didn't want to call him Sleepy Joe, Trump knows he doesn't have to kind of resort to a lot of these tactics to win. He's already got his base. He's an incumbent, blah, 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 all these things. And I'm sure he has all these advisors that are saying, don't call him Sleepy Joe. Let him dig his own grave. And sure enough, look at his eyes when he stalls right before he says Sleepy Joe.
By the way, which was made by Joe. Okay, I didn't want to say Sleepy Joe because I want to be respected.
He does it again where he talks to the audience. I didn't want to say Sleepy Joe because I wanted to be respected. You know what I mean? These asides that he has are so funny. And in the audience, they know what they're getting into. They're excited to hear the new Trumpism. You know what I mean? So they're just, look at this guy right here. They're talking to each other. Did you hear that last one? They're just loving it. They're loving it. What is wrong with our country?
I want to respect him.
But you got to.
He looks like he's going to be a candidate, and I just say, how did that happen? So
he does it again where he hits the punchline and then talks. He goes, he looks like he's going to be a candidate, and I'm like, how did that happen? So anyway, back to what we were talking about. It's brilliant. I know he doesn't intend to do this. This is just his personality. This is just his growing up as some cocky New Yorker. I don't know what it is in his DNA, but if Trump, I'm telling you this, if Trump, grew up in Kansas City, Missouri as a blue collar worker, he'd be on a comedy stage. He just would. He's got it in his DNA. He's got it in his DNA to just have this stream of conscience roasting that's happening. In this next clip, they asked Trump if he has any ongoing conversations with Obama.
President Obama sitting in the Oval Office in probably our only meeting, essentially. That was enough for me. But I was told...
And you haven't talked to him since?
I was at the funeral of President Bush, sat next to him, and I said, hello, and then I said, goodbye. That's about it. No,
That's about it. I say hello. I say goodbye. Trump. What's funny about Trump is that he's like, if you ever get dumped and then you go, I was going to dump you anyway. That's what Trump does. I'm sure Obama wanted nothing to do with talking to Trump, but Trump said, I said hello and I said goodbye. You know what I mean? He's able to spin it at all times in his favor. And that's ultimately what's made him so successful, because everyone always talks about all the bad business dealings, the corruption, this and that. Sure. But what keeps him relevant is that no matter what you throw at him, he parlays it and gives it back to you. So that's why no amount of Biden saying he wants to take him out by the woodshed and punch him or do push-up, no arm wrestling contest is going to beat Trump, because he's going to take whatever it is you do, he's going to think about it, and he's just going to go, Sleepy Joe.
The concept of shaking hands since this, you're hearing a lot of stuff about try not to shake hands. It hasn't stopped me at all, but it is a little bit of a problem.
You said you had
but
to
I got
your face
over
in
it.
2 weeks.
Well, I was kidding. You're not supposed to, I heard the other day you're not supposed to touch your face. So I went on camera and I said, listen, I haven't touched my face in weeks. Now, obviously, I'm kidding. I said, and I miss my face. And one of the networks said, he said he didn't touch his face. And they show pictures of me there. So I don't know. These people.
Yeah, these people, what are you going to do with them? You know what I mean? One of the problems we have in our country is I think news media knows how easy it is to pull quotes from people and take them out of context. I'm not calling the news fake. What I'm saying is we've lost the ability to sift through what is being said in jest or as humor, and then what is actually being said as a truth. So much of our time and energy and so much of our bandwidth is spent consuming the BS, where like I want to get the news. I want to know what's actually going on. I don't care if Trump jokes about touching his face. I want to know how he's bungling the coronavirus outbreak. You know what I mean? Like I think I speak for most people where we're not on the far left or the far right. I still lean left, but I would like truth. I would like facts. I would like to be able to, but my Jeff Goldblum, but I can differentiate between when he's telling a joke and when he's being truthful. You know what I mean? The problem is anyone who's on the fence, who doesn't know who they want to vote for, they're going to see a guy who's going to be able to take whatever Biden says and just do laps around it. I don't know if it's because he's blowing amphetamines or whatever Trump is doing out there. I don't know, nor do I care, because the strategies he's going to use are going to work regardless. Now, this isn't a ploy, this isn't me begging for you guys to vote for Bernie because he's got an uphill battle. By the time you watch this, he might be out of the race by now, or he could have destroyed Biden in the debate on Sunday night. I don't know how it's going to go. But what I do know is Trump's sort of parlaying won't work as well with Bernie, because Bernie has decades of experience, decades of facts, decades of being on the right side of history. So he can call Bernie a communist all he wants, but Bernie's going to explain what democratic socialism is. If you want to check out my last video when I recap the Democratic debates, you can see the different types of humor that's used to win over the audience. With Bernie, he used a lot of sarcasm to build like literal neurological connections with the audience. He goes, "Oh, is it radical of me to think that universal health care should be a thing? Oh, so radical of me." You know what I mean? So you can use different styles of humor to get your point across. And what I would love more than anything, which I haven't been able to get yet, is a Trump-Bernie debate. I would love to see Trump throw all he has at Bernie and Bernie just go, "Oh, I'm a real radical guy there." You know what I mean? I'd love to see that. Anyway, if you want to see more of these videos, hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and share it with your friends. If these videos start to take off, I'll start doing some more. I would love nothing more than looking at Trump's recent speech at CPAC, where he did act out. He did the whole thing with Bloomberg where he was shrinking on stage. I mean, honestly, you're hearing laughter coming from the audience like it's a Def Jam show. It's incredible how much his base is eating this stuff up. Anyway, folks, that's it for me. Bye, guys.